Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, welcome back to another video in my tutorial guide series for the characters in Blazblue Cross Tag Battle. Today we're going to be doing Yang. Yes, she's finally here. The blonde bombshell is finally here. So we're going to be going over everything with her special moves, her normals, her auto combos, her semblance, her distortions, her combos, the utilization of the special moves. What should you be using? What's the best, everything. We're going to be going over everything in this video about Yang. Let me know what you guys think of the guide, of course. I'm trying my best to get straight to the point and quick and easy. I'm trying to shave off some time because I know that some people were saying that the guides are a little bit long. And I'm trying to shave off time as much as I can without leaving out any information. Hopefully I'll be able to, acquiesce your requests. So hopefully today you guys will enjoy the Yang guide. Expect many more to come. I know you guys are expecting the Uniel character guides very soon, but now that Yang is out and I have all 4 Ruby characters up on my channel, the Uni characters are next. So stay tuned for those guys. Anyways, enjoy the Yang guide. Hopefully you guys learned something new here, and hopefully you guys get the pleasure to pick up this character. Enjoy the video, guys. Welcome back to the lab, everybody. We're here with Yang. Let's learn all about her, and like I was saying before, let's get to the point real quick and easy, okay? Let's start off with her assist like we always do with these guides. We're going to be starting off with 4P, and 4P is just like everybody else's anti-air reversal combo launcher assist, which is her uppercut. It's her reversal normally in this game. It's pretty decent for anti-air. It's not too bad. Actually comes out extremely fast, and I don't think this, like Weiss's, the reason why Weiss's is not very good, people saying that her 4P is not very good, is because it doesn't hit crouching opponents. Yang's does, so that fixes that issue. That's what I was kind of worried about when I first saw this assist. So 4P, good anti-air, good for combo launchers, and good for just catching the opponent off guard. And that's the 6P, my bad. Good for catching your opponent off guard for sure, just like that. Comes out pretty quickly. Her 5P, which is her shoulder, and if it hits, it does some additional hits and ends off with a wall bounce. If it doesn't connect, it actually doesn't do the additional hits. It's good for combo extensions. This is your main form of combo extensions. It's really good because it does end off in a wall bounce, so it gives you plenty of time to combo. And yeah, her 6P, which you've already kind of seen, it's a flurry of punches that ends off in a launcher. And this is really good for, of course, just approaching and everything. Just send out Yang out there if you want to sacrifice her, really. It's not in a projectile assist, and I was really hoping they were going to give her a projectile assist. But, oh well, I was really more expecting that they weren't because she's a brawler, of course. So they gave her all these set of tools similar to how they gave it to Makoto. Makoto has a very similar arsenal with the assists, with the 4P being very different from each other. But of course, they both are very good in terms of combo extensions and also for a good lockdown as well. So it's not too bad when you have them blocking and they block the 6P and you go in for for a sandwich or something like that. So her assists aren't terrible, but there's definitely better ones out there, especially ones with projectiles for approaching tools. But Yang's main job as an assist character is for combo extensions and for lockdown. So pretty good. Now that we went over that, let's go over her normals. And her normals actually changed because she has her semblance, which is another form that she has if she gets lower on health. So her moves do change, but we'll go over that later. Right now, we're just going to be going over her normals and her base form. Okay, so let's start off with 5A. And 5A, I think, is probably the stubbiest button in the game. It's so short compared to the rest of the cast that it's really not as good as I thought it was going to be. And once you get up close, it has it's not too bad. But for the most part, using it in neutral is kind of out of the question. If you want to use a button for neutral, is the next button we're going to be talking about is 2A. 2A is not as long as other 2As in the game. Well, actually, not a lot of 2As are very long, but for the most part, that's beside the point. So 2A, pretty decent. I mean, it has some pretty decent range. And the thing is about 2A is that you can Gatling into 5A and then Gatling again into 2A. So you can do stuff like that, which is really important in terms of pressure. And that promotes people to push block Yang because she can Gatling a lot of her A moves, which is really good for pressure, for poking them to see how long they'll block for, and sometimes you even catch them off guard and you can just keep doing this over and over. So for the most part, 2A is very good for that reason. All right, and there's 5B. And 5B, this is a very interesting button, probably one of my favorite buttons, because this move, it pushes her forward, and it has some pretty decent range because it pushes her forward. Look at the range on that move. It's pretty good. And not only that, but it has a special property to it. If you time it correctly, that 5B actually becomes a armored move. So let me see if I can actually time this here. So I'm going to be recording the other Yang. All right. Just like that. And just go like that. Now I'm going to be trying to... Look at that. Look at that right there. Did you see that armored move right there? So let me try that again. There it is. It's kind of crazy. I really like this move, and it's caused some crazy shenanigans to happen with this character in the past couple days. So it's really strong. Not only is it a pretty good button, but it's armored, and you can just blow through it. Now, you do waste health when you do armored moves in this game with Yang. So be careful when managing your health with Yang. Next up, we have her 2B, and her 2B is actually very interesting. That is her anti-air, and the reason why I'm saying that 2B is interesting is because you see how she launches up in the air while she does it? She does a little Shoryuken move. Well, when she does this, it actually takes one of your jumps. In this game, you initially have 2 jumps, a double jump, but if you do your 2B, that actually counts as one of your jumps. So you can only, from here, you can only jump once. So I thought which means that you can't really air dash. To be able to air dash in this game, you need to actually have 2 jumps in stock. So 1 and then 2. That takes up all of your jumps. In this example, you can't really necessarily do that because you do have to jump cancel in order to move around after the 2B. Because if you don't jump and you don't do anything, you just get left in recovery there. But if you jump, you're fine. But that's your second jump, and you can't jump anymore after that. So yeah, 2B, interesting move. It's an anti-air. Very interesting nonetheless. All right, now let's go over her 5C. Her 5C is this right here. It's actually one of the slowest ones for the Ruby cast. It's not bad, but it's it's kind of weird looking because she stops midair to slam you with her fist. So it's kind of a weird animation, but nonetheless, it's a 5C. It's an overhead. What can you say? You know what I'm saying? There's that. There's 2C, which is her sweep, and this is probably her best button right next to 5B. Her sweep has incredible range because she steps forward, and it just has crazy range, and it's probably her best combo starter if you ever start combos with the sweep. But for the most part, this is a great button to be able to start in neutral. Not only that, but it also low profile specific moves. Like, for example, I think it can low profile Blake's 5B. So I would show it to you guys, but I kind of want to make this quick and easy. But yeah, 2C, an incredible tool to be able to use in the neutral. You can even special cancel it into like shoulder rush, which we'll get into in the special move section. But for the most part, 2C is really good. I highly recommend you using this button any way you see fit. So 2C, very good. All right, let's go over her air normals. She has her JA. And her JA is really good, actually. It's not too bad. It's got a really good horizontal hitbox. And not just that, but it can also cross up at certain angles. So it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. It's pretty good. So use that often for her jump-ins and for air-to-airs. That'll really help you out win the air combat situations. And there's her JB. And her JB is going to be your main jump-in move. So whenever you jump up in the air to be able to initiate the neutral with your character, just be sure to press JB because that's the main tool. It has a really good vertical hitbox, which means that it can knock them on the dome as soon as they stand up. So it's really good. And also it does a pretty decent amount of damage, so you're going to be using it for combos, of course. So really good. JB, very good for jump-ins, and JA is really good for air-to-airs and for cross-ups as well. All right, there's her JC, and her JC is this right here. It can cross up. It has a very big hitbox. Like her whole body turns into just like a projectile pretty much. And it can be kind of ambiguous if you just go to the top of the screen. I don't even know where I'm going, to be honest. I just hover over the enemy, and I just pray that I land on the right side, the side that they're not blocking. So JC is really good. It's an overhead, by the way. The only thing that's wrong about this JC is the JC is not special cancelable, which makes it the only JC in the Ruby cast that's not special cancelable, which means that she won't be able to finish specific combos with distortions from the air. So that kind of makes her a very grounded character. So if you want to cancel into distortion, end it off with a super, make sure you stay on the ground. So that's JC, and that's her air normals. All right, next up, let's talk about her auto combos. And her auto combos are pretty average. They're pretty similar to the rest of the cast. It sends them full screen, and you cannot cancel or special cancel the last hit of the auto combo. General rule of thumb for this game. All right, it's a pretty decent auto combo. I mean, you don't have to worry about whiffing it because all of the third and the fourth hit of the auto combo are they have pretty decent range, so you don't have to worry about whiffing. Other than that, it's pretty average. It's whatever. And there is her 5B auto combo, which is probably her main combo, the main thing you're going to be using in terms of combos, in terms of punishes, all that good stuff, because it launches. 5B auto combo launches, and it is jump cancelable on hit. However, the second hit of the 5B is not jump cancelable. So and it's very, very punishable, by the way. So don't use this without you canceling into something, into a special move. So because anything is safer than this right here. If you end up not special canceling anything from this move, you're gonna and they can do anything to you. So anyways, that's that. However, hold on, the first hit of her auto combo or just her 5B in general, is jump cancelable on block, and so is her 5A, just like that. So you can get out of situations that you don't, if you want to jump around, you want to bait a burst or something, you want to use these normals to be able to jump out of the situation. 5A, 5B, they're all jump cancelable on block. And like I was saying before, with the 2A normal being Gatling from 2A, so you can do like crazy stuff like this. So her pressure is actually very scary in terms of, you have to hold a lot of stuff, so it really initiates the opponent to push block, like I was saying before. So yeah, that's her auto combos. That's her 5B, and her 5A. Next up, let's talk about her special moves. The first one we're going to be talking about is her fireballs, which is quarter circle forward A, quarter circle forward B, and quarter circle forward C. 3 variations of this move. The quarter circle forward A, or the light version that I like to call it, is a little bit more short ranged, and the medium version is more far, you can throw it a lot farther. Now these fireballs do hit their toes, so they can easily jump over them. So be careful when throwing these fireballs. But not to mention, also to mention that she doesn't have too much recovery whenever she throws a fireball. So don't get too worried if they're at a specific distance and they jump over them, because I think you'll be able to recover in time. And there's her EX fireball, which does more damage and more hits, of course. And you have more of a frame advantage if you throw out an EX fireball. All right, so she also has her air fireballs. And just to note that this is also her only special move in the air. It's just her air fireballs. It's really cool. I like the usage of her fireball. By the way, just a little thing to add on to the EX fireball is the EX fireball is actually plus. Her fireballs, just to go back to the fireballs, her fireball game is actually not too bad. It's not used for like extreme zoning like S and like U13 or Yukiko, but it is used for some form of like, all right, they're going to sit full screen. You can kind of bug them full screen. You can jump up in the air and throw your fireballs. It has a pretty decent hitbox on those fireballs. So you can hit them. You can catch them off guard with these fireballs for sure. So it's really, really good. I really like these. And it's similar to like S's fireball game, but only better because it goes at a downward angle. And you can really bug them with those fireballs. So especially the EX ones. And also it can be used for approaching as well. You can throw a fireball and you're in. Only at specific distances and specific ranges. So try not to spam that too much because it's good, but it's not that good, But anyways. And then also EX air fireball is also plus on block, just to mention that as well. Next special move is her shoulder tackle, which is probably one of her most interesting moves that she has because she can do a couple things out of her shoulder tackle. So you can just straight up not do anything and just shoulder rush them, which is safe on block, by the way. So they cannot punish this. This is safe, but it is minus. So keep that in mind. Don't start pressing buttons afterwards because it's not safe. So after the shoulder tackle, you can do a couple things. You can press A again to be able to do that flurry of attacks that she just did. And that can be set up as kind of a frame trap, which is kind of nice. There's that variation, and there's also a overhead that she can do if you press quarter circle back and B, and that is an overhead. Now be careful with this overhead because that overhead is very punishable. So whenever they block this specific move, they can hit you straight up out of your recovery frame. So be careful when using that move. Make sure that they actually get hit by it. So, and then there's her quarter circle back A and then C, which is her meter burn version of the follow-ups, which is a flurry of attacks. And then she goes crazy. She goes absolutely crazy. I really like it. So the one thing about this move is that it's a really good lockdown assist. So if you want to throw out not a lockdown assist, a really good lockdown tool. So if you want to switch out to your assist, you most definitely can. So you can do like stuff like that. So it's really cool for that purpose, and it's also a really good combo tool. So if they don't block this, just like that, you can keep comboing in the corner because they do have a knockdown after you hit them with that move. So keep that in mind, that you can do. Anyways, so just to let you know that that's a really good combo tool to use in the corner because it does a pretty good amount of damage and it's pretty easy to combo after it. So there's all the follow-ups after her shoulder tackle. Now let's move on to her other variations of her shoulder tackle. So that was quarter circle back A. Quarter circle back B is actually a command grab. So you can only jump out of this. If you get hit by this, you're gonna get you're gonna get carried, DK style, you know. So that is a command grab. Pretty weird amount of startup. But the thing is about this is you can mix your opponent up because you have a shoulder tackle that looks exactly like it. So that's when the mix-up kind of comes in. So if you start to use shoulder tackle a little bit too much, mix it up with your command grabs. And you can really like get them on tilt at that point. So there's that. And then there is her her EX version, which is quarter circle back C, which is also a command grab. But this command grab, you can actually crouch. So be careful with this command grab. Okay, so if they crouch, it completely whiffs. But it is a command grab. It's a lot faster too. So keep that in mind. Now in the corner, you can actually combo after this. And there's some really crazy setups with this because she's got like crazy loops like this. So you can keep going after that as well. So this move is incredibly good for like just mixing up your opponents to make them crouch. And then you can get some shenanigans going. But for the most part, you're going to be using this in combos because it does a really good amount of damage. And you can loop into it. Like, you can just keep going. But, you know, there's meter limitations and all that good stuff. So for the most part, very good move. But like I said, you can crouch it. So be careful with using this move too much. Alrighty, now that we went over all of her special moves, all of her normals, her auto combos, all that good stuff, let's talk about her semblance, alright, which is her special attribute. Now, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but now let's talk about it in detail. So, if you guys don't know, Yang has a very special attribute from her show. If you guys haven't seen her show, her special attribute, or her semblance is what we call it, is that she becomes stronger the more damage she takes. And they incorporated it into this game beautifully. So, in this game, whenever she gets low on health, the lowest point that she can go, so 35, she does not go into it because she's still at green health. 34 is the highest orange health peak, the highest orange health bar that you have. So as soon as she hits 34 health points, that's when she goes into semblance, all right? And this is when she becomes absolutely nuts. By the way, on a little side note, whenever she goes into semblance, she does a little pause buffer, as you saw there. So this little pause buffer is extremely good. Let me tell you why. It's because it's literally this little pause. I want to talk a little bit about it because this is really actually game-changing. Or just not game-changing, but this is the only character that really has this. It's a little pause button, essentially. And at this point, she doesn't really have any recovery. You can't punish her for going into semblance. So you can literally do whatever you want after this. If there's a move coming out, if your opponent is doing something in the middle of you transforming, you can literally just reversal and nullify it completely. It's really, really strong. And I've done it a couple times myself. Of course, you can mistime it. So you really have to time the time that she gets out of her semblance animation or her semblance startup. if you time it correctly, you can literally, if your opponent is doing a move and you see them doing a move while you're activating Semblance, you can just reversal and nullify that move completely. It's a very good strategy, and it's really, really good. All right, so very viable. So like I was saying, oh, not just that, but whenever she goes into Semblance, I Burn starts playing. You can't tell because I have other music going on right now, but just a little side note there. But anyways, let's get into the character herself when she goes into Semblance. All right, when she goes into Semblance, this is where this character becomes incredibly scary, because everything gets enhanced. Her damage, her normals, her combo capabilities, all of it gets enhanced all of a sudden. She becomes a powerhouse of a character, which makes her comeback capability extremely high. So for just a few things that gets enhanced, just to show you guys, all of her punches, any normals that have punches in them, all of a sudden get enhanced. Look at the damage that I'm doing out of a very, very simple, not even breaking a sweat combo. Like, this character becomes super deadly because of the damage that she does. But not just that, everything else gets enhanced too. Like her specials, like her shoulder tackle follow-ups become a lot more damaging. And you can actually try, I think you can combo after a few. Anyways, for the most part, there's that. Everything gets enhanced. And a little bit of a side note on her punches and her combos. After she goes into Semblance, she goes a little bit slower because everything is double hitting. Because everything just is freaking crazy damage. So everything's double hitting, so it goes a little bit slower. So I recommend you taking your time to learn your combos outside of Semblance and then also in Semblance, so you don't miss time any combos, because that's the worst when you try to do a combo and you have the timing of the regular form down, but when she goes into Semblance, that's when you drop it, because she's going a lot slower now because she has double hitting moves because of it. So be sure to practice your Semblance combos and your base form combos as well. So with that being said, not only does her special moves get enhanced, but, well, not her special moves, not only does her shoulder get enhanced, but her command grab as well. So if you do her command grab, you can actually combo after it. You have plenty of time to be able to combo after her after her freaking command grab. It's kind of nuts. She becomes a force to be reckoned with. Everything else gets enhanced to her distortions, everything. She just becomes a deadly, deadly character. And her EX command grab has a wall bounce now, so you can do other things, such as, I think you can do this. I think you can do something like this. Oh, anyways, don't worry about it. Everything just gets enhanced. Just remember that, all right? So she becomes incredibly good in Semblance. Now that we went over everything with the character, let's go over her distortions. She has her quarter circle forward distortion, which is really good. I call it Bionic Arm, if you guys are Marvel players out there. Bionic Arm, she literally rushes the screen, comes towards you, and just freaking lays it on you. Bam. Be careful with this because it does not go full screen. Oh, it does go full screen. Never mind. I'm eating my own words as I'm doing the tutorial. Isn't that great? So anyways, this is full screen. So be careful. It also is the projectile nullifier. So if your opponent is throwing projectiles at you, you can literally just rush right through them, bam, and just get to them. So it's really, really good. Very strong. All right. And her quarter circle back distortion, which is this flurry of punches. It's her damage distortion. This is the one that does the most damage of the two. And the thing about this distortion is one application that I found doing, just a little bit of a side note here on her quarter circle back distortion, is whenever you do this and you have a character that has a, whoops, I did that wrong. So if you have a character that has a single hitting super in the back, you can actually do stuff like this. Yang just keeps going. So Blake is probably not a good example for this. Probably in the corner. And the corner is definitely a very good example for this. So if you do a distortion and you summon Blake, Yang will keep going and you have the ability to just roam around and mix them up. Just a little bit of a side note there. I don't know if you guys can experiment with that, but that's not important, but I just wanted to mention it. So for the most part, that's going to be her damage distortion, whether the bionic arm or the lunging super that she has is going to be for projectile. So for zoners, for anybody that's trying to zone you out, Yang can just completely blow through any projectile and hit them. So it's really, really good. So those are her distortions. And of course, we can't forget about her astral. Her astral is probably like one of the coolest things in the game. It's probably one of the better astrals in the game, in my opinion. This astral is super pretty duper cool. Okay, so let's actually see it right here. Alright, so the first one I'm going to be talking about is, of course, the one that you've been seeing this entire video, and that's Blake. I think Blake is extremely compatible with Yang just because of her assists and how they work, and the combo extenders and how they work as well. I've been finding a bunch of stuff with these two characters, and especially with what makes this Blake especially good for Yang is that she has her projectile assist, which if they block in, of course, in the neutral, you throw out the Blake assist, and that specific Blake assist requires it kind of reels them in, which is what Yang wants. So it's really, really strong in that regard. And also her 5P, which is an incredible combo extender. It really complements with Yang's combos. So if you do something like this, you can it's just very, very compatible. You don't really have to do any tricky timings. It's just very straightforward, to the point. That's my assist. It's really, really good. And not to mention that Blake also has some pretty decent compatibility. It's not the greatest, but it's decent for Yang's assist. Because like I said, they're not exactly amazing, but they do get the job done, with her 4P being a pretty decent anti-air assist, and also 5P being an incredible combo extender, especially for Blake, because it launches them kind of half screen, and you can kind of go into her 5B shenanigans, and maybe even like going for stuff like that, and then maybe even leave them like full screen. So Blake and Yang, incredibly good. I really like these two a lot. So without trying to use too many of the characters that I have already mentioned before in previous guides, for example like Jin and S, those are obviously good assists for Yang because they have really good projectiles and good combo extender assist. But to be able to go with a character you don't see too often, Hyde is, I think, very good with Yang, because Hyde has a very good projectile assist to be able to cover Yang's approach. Not just that, but he has really good combo compatibility with her by using her 4P or his 5P. I have found some really cool cross combos with Hyde and and Yang in cross combo mode. So I'm really, really cool. It was really cool to see. I'm really happy that I found that combo. Actually, I'm kind of proud of myself. And not just that, but like he has a really good like lockdown type of move where you can continue your pressure, because Yang has a lot of really cool like pressure tools, but she needs a lot of help from different assists, and I think Hyde kind of really helps her out in a very good way. So Hyde, very good. So I'm kind of throwing this one in on a whim just because there's new characters, and I wanted to kind of throw this one in here to look for some compatibility with other new characters. And Hakumen, I think, has some really cool compatibility with Yang just because he has some pretty cool combo extenders such as 5P and also 4P, which is very good assist nonetheless. And there's also his 6P, which is a crazy assist that he has. I could not believe that they gave it to him. It's the Summer's Advanced Super is now his assist, which covers the whole screen on the ground. And not just that, but it has a lot of startups, so you can kind of intimidate your opponent if they're not too bashful with their, or not bashful, but not too bold with their buttons and their projectiles and stuff, because Hakumen can get hit here. But for the most part, the main reason I really like this team is because you can combo her command grab off of his assist. So just like this, and you can continue the combo. That's why I really like this team. I thought it was really cute and neat, but I kind of threw out Hakumen in there just because I thought it'd be a really fun team to throw in there, you know, trying not to use the usual suspects as assists. And the last one that I wanted to mention for this video is, of course, her baby sister Ruby. And I think we all saw this one coming because they are super compatible with each other, with her 6P being super fast and also very, very, very good for approach, to help Yang with approaching, and her 5P being an incredibly good combo assist tool. So with, of course, I've been already found out some sick cross combos with these two using her 5P. And of course, you can never go wrong with her 4P being probably one of the best anti-air assists in the game. And of course, I found a really cheeky, like really cute little setup with Ruby. Whenever you're in the pickle, just put in Ruby and then DHC into Yang, and Yang can kind of roam free while Ruby kind of does her thing. So I thought that was a pretty cute little thing that I found. They can like mix them up, go for some crazy shenanigans, of course. So I think this team can be really cool, really fun to play too. And you know, you can never go wrong with little sister, big sister. You know what I'm saying? And that about does it for me, guys. Thank you all for watching. Of course, I'm going to be going over the combos, and I want to leave you with one more thing, and I'm going to be repeating this for all the guides that I'm going to be doing, is that just because I find or I recommend a character for the character that I'm reviewing or the character that I'm doing a guide for, doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out there and find another character that you may like that's might be or may not be more compatible. You know, I'm not telling you to play these specific characters that I recommend with the character that I'm reviewing, but it's definitely like just a recommendation, like I said. So if you find a character that's better, go out, go play your character, and have fun with this game, of course. So anyways, that's going to be it for me. Let me know how I did in this guide, if it was any better than my previous ones. Let me know some feedback to see how I can improve on these guides. Let me know what you guys think of Yang, to see if you like her, if you're going to pick her up. And I will see you guys in the next video. Enjoy the combos, guys.
That's just a warm-up.